keep fighting through that. That was awesome.
You know, in all honesty, I got to tell you the story behind that. When we shot the film, we didn't make that scene. And I was very disappointed. We were supposed to fight. And then on the day, if you recall, it was the last day of shooting. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. We were fighting the light. And now it comes up to the point where he and I are supposed to throw down. And it was a combination of, I think, you know, Jason's a bit of a wile E. Coyote. And I think that he was like, you know, if we start a fight scene right now, we won't get anything done. So he was just like, oh, look, I'm just going to shoot him. You know? And I was really devastated because I was like, you know, the payoff of this whole thing is that we're supposed to go at it. And we shot it that way, that he just shot me. And it was very anticlimactic. And we you know, both knew it and walked away from it knowing it. I think that you know, we really were trying to push as much sand into the bag as we could over the course of the shooting of the movie. And we just ran out of bag. And sure enough, 6 months later, I got a phone call from Taylor going, Michael, we're going to do this thing. And I was just like vindicated instantly. I was like, yes, cool. It's like, the movie's terrific. It's really coming together well, but you guys just got to fight. Yeah, you have to. I was like, yeah, that's what I said. I'm great. So then it ended up, we took 2 full days, which was perfect because now we went from what would have been 3 hours to shoot an entire fight. Now we spent 2 12-hour days just beating the shit out of each other. And that was fun, you know. It was, you know, because we both, you know, we do that quite often, he and I, in our careers. So we both were good at it. And within the first hour of being there, we knew what we were going to do. And then we were able to take the rest of the 2 days and just really just make it visceral and shoot the hell out of it from a lot of different angles. Of course, you know, I had a lot of frozen peas on me after day 2 because I took the brunt of it, you know, as you know.
Was it good for both of you to get away and actually do something like this? Because, you know, I will always think of you as Vic Mackey, and it's one of my favorite shows of all time, and I think it's in that top 5. But I think it's been a long enough time that you can actually come and just be somebody else, which is what I'm sure what you want to be a character.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what every actor wants. You know, I don't really fear typecasting as much as most actors do, because I've already been through so much in that, you know, the first part of my career I was the sort of affable, sweet guy, and I couldn't get a role as Vic Mackey. And then, but Vic Mackey broke that. Ironically, there have been situations where younger filmmakers are like, you know, when I've gone and shown interest in a really lovely guy, where younger filmmakers have gone like, he's Vic Mackey, he's going to kill the guy, he's going to bite his throat out. I'm like, no. Then you show them earlier work and they're like, what? You know, so you can understand how, you know, you always, when you do a good job at something, you leave an indelible image. But after a while you just know, you learn how to quell people's worries, fears about that, because you know that you can do what it takes to embody that character. And, you know, whether it's a good guy or a bad guy or you know, somewhere in between, a gray guy.
And I think the further a character, for me personally, I think the further a character is away from who you really are, your natural center, the more exciting the challenges of finding your way inside of it. And I mean, work that you've done for a long, long time, it's so far away from who you really are.
Yeah.
But there's shades of...
It's exciting though.
Yeah, and there's shades of who you know, dream to be or wish to be sometimes in all your characters, both good and bad, but the further they are from you, the more exciting it is to sort of find your way to it.
When you're supposed to kill Parker, it seemed like there was something going on there, like you didn't have the heart to do it, and it looks like you either didn't shoot him or you shot him, tried not to shoot him in the head. Was that what was going on there? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, in some ways I'm the odd man out with the group because they're all our whole crew and Jason. They're all trained professionals. They're incredible at what they do, and they all have somebody that's so good at that has such focus and composure, and I don't. So the whole way through the movie, I'm sort of fumbling through it, trying to figure out how to become that and how to, harness that sort of composure and that power, and I just don't have it. And by the end of the movie, I unravel and sort of try and find it, but I never actually find it. But yeah, I don't actually do it because I don't want to be the trigger man, and I don't want to be held responsible for it too.
Well, you the one screwed it up in the first one. You didn't kill him the first time.
I screw everything.
He's not a hard criminal. He's his daddy put him on the gig with us, and that's why we have a level of contempt for him in the movie. And he's just, it's that insecure bluster, which I think you got really, really well. Is that when a guy is not that, he puts on this bluster of
False
that.
bravado.
Right, exactly. But when it comes down to it, to actually pulling the trigger on a guy, he couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Right, exactly. Couldn't do it. So, but that's, to me, was spot on. That's, I haven't seen the movie yet, but, in the shooting of it, I was like, yeah, this guy's afraid. And when it comes down to squeezing on somebody, he couldn't do it. Whereas, it's all kind of interesting, though, that I send you as opposed to just doing it myself. Right.
How much of Taylor was in all of this? I mean, you guys came off so natural, both of your characters. How much direction did he give you, or did he allow you a lot of leeway?
I think he allowed us a lot of leeway. I think what Michael was saying in the last one, the greatest thing Taylor did as far as the crew of us, the four of us, was putting us together the first night we got to New Orleans. We had dinner together, and then we spent 3 months together every day, on and off set, basically.
He casts well.
Yeah. So I
puts
think
us together and let us go.
And Taylor, I think, allowed all of us a lot of freedom within what we were doing, as far as like staying within the structure of the story, obviously, but allowing us to try and implement our own sort of ideas and thoughts too. So.
Did you have in the back of your mind, this is an Oscar-winning director, so I really got to step up to the plate here?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I want you to answer. I really want to hear what you have to say. No, I do.
Well, I think it's different for, again, this is the first really big film I've ever done. I was embraced by Michael and Clifton and Wendell, but Michael took amazing care of me. Michael held my hand for 3 months, basically.
No, I
and
didn't.
taught me a lot.
I hung with you, man. I didn't hold your hand. You didn't handle it. You were perfectly capable, man. You were there.
Michael was amazing to me. And so for me, I'm probably the only person that actually went and read for Taylor and auditioned for the role of the main group or the main cast. So Taylor really, really fought for me to be in the movie, I think, and really believed in me. So I was able to show up and know that. And I don't know, I didn't feel any great pressure. I felt like he cast me for a specific reason, not because I was a celebrity, because I'm not. So I that sort of gave me sense of
belonging.
Yeah.
For me, initially, before being cast, when I was called, to meet with Taylor, that was what brought me into the film, because I was like, Taylor Hackford's one of those guys on the list of guys that I want to work with. Academy Award-winning, terrific, wonderful director, of some of, films that I really personally loved, so I was like, yeah, I'm in, but during the actual shooting of the movie, we just had fun with it, we were given a lot of room, plus, it's a big movie, in scope, and particularly the scenes we were involved with, they were big heist
There's a lot of
gags.
Yeah.
So we were kind of running a lot, again, shoving 10 pounds of sand in a 5-pound bag, where like we had 5 days in Columbus, Ohio at the Ohio State Fair. And that whole huge sequence, we had to shoot quick, we were running and gunning. So there wasn't a lot of time for sort of nuanced director, actors. It's like, grab that shit, let's go! You know, shoot it! You know,
I think there's a sense of chaos on set,
which
really
actually
benefited the film in a lot of ways.
I should have. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
I have.
Oh, cool. See, I haven't seen it. But we found on The Shield for sure that frenetic pace definitely lent itself to the frenetic nature of the feeling in the show. So I can only imagine that it did the same thing. You felt that sort of immediacy and visceral sort of get it, you know.
Michael, anything coming back for, I should say, comic book adventure eventually coming back for you? Fantastic Four or anything coming back?
Well, I don't think the Fantastic Four, they've announced that they're going to reboot it, you know. Well, I read that when you guys read it. No one told me. They just was announced that they were going to go with a different cast and crew, different director. So,
on the flip side, I'm happy with Vegas. Are you surprised?
Am I surprised by what?
On how the success of Vegas, how that's come about?
I wouldn't say surprised as much as gratified and thankful, grateful, happy. That's sort of one of those bolts from the blue when someone, an old dear friend of mine, Nina Tassler, who's the president of CBS, calls me and says, Chicky, I got a winner. And I'm like, oh, cool, what? And I went in and spoke to her, and she's a smart woman. There's a reason why she's where she's at. And, when you talk about Nick Pileggi and Greg Walker and Dennis Quaid and myself and Carrie Ann Moss and Sarah Jones, it's just a jewel. And really phenomenal pedigree all the way across the board. So you get great writers, wonderful actors, amazing crew. That's going to be a good gig. And you got a great hairstyle.
Oh, well.
Just saying.
I'll give you the number of my stylist.
Just saying.
When they make a new Fantastic Four, and let's say they do the new Ben Grimm thing, like on computer, will you call the next guy who maybe plays him or does motion capture?
No way,
voice and
I'm
say,
not
like,
going to call.
I was on set all day and I had to wear that. Or
Yeah.
will you be like, man, why couldn't I have had it that good?
I'll leave it to you, man. You call. You call that guy and say, Chiklis suffered. You go to set at 3 o'clock in the morning for an 8 o'clock call. 5 hours getting in that shit. Now you're going to CGI it. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.